say the color black without walking on eggshells.
I said, hold up, got my glizzy, bang, bang. I said, hold up, got my glizzy, bang, bang.
You're tuned into Foolery. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. And consider donating with super chats, stickers, memberships, or you can even gift memberships to other chatters. Or use the tips link in the description to write a message for TTS that will be read on stream.
Hit the like button, or you ain't black. And that's a fact. Jack.
Enjoy the show.
What's up, fools? Today is 9/13/2025. It is 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. We're streaming on YouTube and TikTok today. I had some of my strikes removed. Have not streamed on TikTok in a while, so figured we go live today and see if we can get some debates. But I do need some people to go over to TikTok and let me know how I sound, because I kind of deleted the entire TikTok Studio app a while ago, and now all of my settings are reset. So if I could get anybody to go over to TikTok and let me know how it sounds, I would appreciate it. Yeah, for the most part, we're gonna see if we can get some debates on TikTok. It would probably be a short stream because I don't really plan on doing much else unless something comes up. We'll we'll plan on just doing this. Why is my YouTube thing over here not updating? It says there's 100 people watching on YouTube, but this still says 0, so I don't know what the deal is. What up, what up? How's it sound? You guys tell me, does it sound okay? Everybody hear me okay? Hello, hello. How does it sound? Sound okay? I think normally I won't even know how it sounds because almost every single time I get on, people tell me that I sound perfectly fine, and then after a couple of minutes that somebody else jumps on and they tell me that the other person's way louder than I am. So I don't know that I can know just yet, but reality fails you. Well, that's why I'm welcoming you guys to jump on and explain reality to me. I'm not afraid of being wrong. This is my position, and if you guys disagree with me, I'm happy to let you jump on and explain why. But in the meantime, I mean, I haven't seen any evidence that I'm wrong. All evidence says otherwise. So I'm here to find out. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull up my audio real quick and see how it sounds. Oh, I've got it muted. Audio real quick and see how it sounds. Is it? Oh, I've got it muted. There's static? Is it? There's static? I don't hear static on my side. Background, yeah. Huh. Anybody else? Weird. I don't, Does this guy think the government is corrupt? No, of course not. Alright, I'm trying to pull people up real quick who are requesting up. Hello, hello. You're on the Tom Foolery Show. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do I have static in the background? The people in chat are saying that they hear static in the background for me.
I apologize. I don't hear it now, but I did hear like a little snap and a little crackling once in a while, not every time in the in whatever room, whatever when I was up there.
Okay. And then on TikTok, are you guys able to hear him? Because on my side it says that his audio is not going through.
Really?
No, you guys don't hear him? Okay, let me adjust my audio settings.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I haven't streamed on TikTok in a while, so give me just a second, guys. Bear with me. Apologies for the delay. Yeah, I don't know why it's not going through on TikTok. Oh wait, is this it? Okay, I think I found it.
Is that better?
Can you guys hear him now?
Anyone? Bueller? Hey. There we go.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it just said that I got restricted for having unoriginal content on here. This happens to me every time on TikTok. It says that I'm getting restricted for stuff that doesn't seem to be happening. But all right, man, what's up? How's it going?
I mean, I just want to ask you, like, what's your basis for conservatives are violent?
So I don't think that it's like anything that that is inherent to conservatism, but it seems like every single time something happens to a conservative, the conservatives immediately run around saying stuff like, this is war, they're at war with us, they're attacking us, we have to defend ourselves against them. And they do this off like small anecdotes here and there. Whereas every time like Democrats are attacked, they don't do the same thing. And there's more examples of this happening to Democrats than there are to conservatives.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that, but like take for example, I mean, everybody that's a Republican, no matter how you see it, we're all apparently Nazis. We're all racist. White supremacists, all this stuff. I mean,
well, can you? So when you guys say that, can you give me an example of like a Democrat politician ever saying that you're all Nazis, like a mainstream politician? Somebody like Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, because I can give examples of Trump saying that that Kamala Harris and Democrats are all fascists and far left authoritarians, Marxists, communists. But I never see that sort of rhetoric from Democrats, like mainstream like politicians.
we're called things all the time. I mean, deplorables.
Well, sure, I'm not denying that you guys are called things, but I'm saying you said that like they call you guys Nazis all the time, and I'm saying I see people say this. I agree that people say this, but I don't agree with the characterization that Trump or his followers are Nazis, but I also just don't see people on the left saying this.
I mean, you have people on the left, like I said, look at Hollywood. Look at what Madonna said. I never wanted to blow up something until now. Look at what Johnny Depp said. Look at what's called what's her name, Waters from Cali. What she is actually saying about how much we're a threat and we need to be dealt with. Um, there's actually plenty of stuff on the left that actually kind of insinuate that we're just this great threat to democracy, and yet what you end up seeing is we're not, like you said, you had Barack Obama in there for 8 years. Nobody tried to take his life.
Well, that's not true. First off, that is not true at all. There was, I think, an anthrax scare. There were pipe bombs that were sent to Obama, Biden, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, and 9 other Democrat politicians. And the reason that the guy gave is that because they all criticized Donald Trump too much. There were the Democrats that just recently were attacked by a conservative No King's Day protest, where the guy went to attack Hortman and Hoffman, and ended up killing. I think it was Hoffman and her husband, ended up shooting Hortman's husband when the cops showed up, and then ran off, but he was planning on going and killing Walls as well. We have the January 6th, where they were literally chanting that they were there to kill Pelosi and AOC. We have like, I can go on for a day if you'd like me to, but we don't have those same examples on the other side. We have like 2 attempts on Trump, and then Charlie Kirk. That's about it.
They actually attempted to shoot the president of the United States. Okay, they attempted to actually shoot the president of the United States. Okay, you've had cover up after cover up. That basically, they can not give them the security details that they should have been received at that point. And basically, there's also other senators. What about the guys that got shot? The senators playing softball. The Republican senator that was actually playing softball and actually got shot right there, and he's in the hospital forever. What about the woman?
Wait, just to be clear, wasn't that a Democrat politician, and they were there to kill Bernie Sanders? It was a lefty who did it. It wasn't. He teacupped. It wasn't. It wasn't a right winger who did that one, but that is that I'm almost positive they were there for Bernie Sanders. I don't know. He teacupped. I don't know if he's still there or not.
Sorry.
You're okay.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, he's gone again.
I was just trying to look it up. I can't get out of the thing at the same time and look it up. But there have been like assassination attempts, on many people on the Republican side. Look at all, literally the rioting, the looting, the damage been done to federal buildings.
Yes, but
Where do
I'm
you see
not.
that on the
I'm.
right?
I don't disagree. But the problem is that those are the things that you guys bring up all the time. Is that like, the left does destruction to buildings, and every time it happens, there's a whole host of Democrats who denounce this stuff. When we go and look at, like during BLM. Biden and Kamala Harris and Pelosi and Barack Obama, every single major figure immediately came out and denounced this. When Pelosi got attacked and her husband got hit in the head with a hammer, Donald Trump ran around making fun of it and making memes about it. Charlie Kirk told his audience to go bail the guy out. So I like when we look at the violence that comes from the left, Democrats immediately turn around and condemn all of it and say that this is bad. Whereas when it comes from the right, they immediately turn it into memes and make fun of it and think it's a big joke.
I mean, what about Trayvon Williams? When basically Barack Obama said, that could have been my son, Trayvon Williams, when he was found guilty of actually attacking, that security officer.
Yeah, I don't know what that has to do with what we're talking about in the violence. Like
They're saying they denounce certain things. They denounce what they want to denounce. They don't denounce everything that goes on with that.
I'm sorry. This is not like an example of political violence. So I don't know what that has to do with what we're talking about. That is not an example of political violence. That's what we're talking about right now. The point is that like everybody is using Charlie Kirk as an example to run around and say that Democrats are declaring war on us. When if we go look at pretty much every study, the majority of political violence comes from the right. The majority of politicians who have been attacked have been Democrats. But there's just like 2 or 3 that came after Trump and Charlie Kirk, and now they're all immediately claiming victimhood when that is the minority of the attacks that are happening against politicians.
Ronald Reagan, that was attacked. You had what you call it? Who was it? You had what's his name? Hussein going after what you call Bush's dad, senior. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, that has nothing to do with the Democrats, mind you, but I mean, there's a lot of things that basically that are on there, and I don't see where do you see the Republicans not denouncing violence?
I just gave you an example when they went and attacked Paul Pelosi, and he was in the hospital. Donald Trump literally the next day was out making fun of it, saying that he said Pelosi doesn't want a wall, yet she has a wall around her house. By the way, how's her husband doing? Ha ha ha. Everybody laughs. And then he says, yeah, seems as though their wall didn't do them all that much good, huh? Ha ha ha. Like, and they made a bunch of jokes about this. So did Charlie Kirk. And he told his audience to go bail the guy out. Like, this is pretty consistent with the right, is that they turn things into memes. The same with George Floyd, when there's a never ending amount of memes about George Floyd, but this is just like kind of the way that it works, is that they all refuse to take responsibility for anything. And the part of it is that if you guys believed in like stochastic terrorism, I would be like, we would have a much easier conversation. The problem is that every single time you guys get attacked, you all of the sudden believe in stochastic terrorism. Now it's, they called us Nazis. Now it's, they called us fascists. They caused this. The left has to own this. But when it's our people being attacked, well, it's no, individuals make their own choices. This is individuals making their own crazy choices. This has nothing to do with us. We can't tell these people what to do.
How many times, with all the riots that were going on for all these little political things that had to do with Trump or deportations or anything else like that, did a lot of the Democrats applaud it? People getting killed.
Like what? Give me an example
Actually,
of somebody applauding.
But they were actually happy about these guys destroying buildings, destroying this and that.
Yeah, give me an example of this. Who did that?
Saying that we need to do more stuff. Who was it? It was Kamala Harris, actually, too. That needs, we're not going to stand by.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is not the same. She told people to go peacefully protest. In that same quote, she literally tells people to peacefully protest.
I mean, you guys keep bringing up January 6th and whatnot and everything else. Like
I'm
that,
sorry, hold on.
you know,
Wait. Hold on. We keep like moving from one example to the other. Every time I give examples, you're not like engaging with any of them. So with the example that you just gave me of Kamala Harris, you understand that she said in that clip that she wanted people to peacefully protest, right? I can pull it up if you'd like.
Please do.
Okay. All of these are her yelling at pro-Palestinian protesters. So give me just a second, because almost every example is her calling out Palestinian protesters, whereas I'm looking for specifically the BLM quote. Sorry?
I'm not just talking about just the BLM quote.
Wait, you said where she said we're not just going to stand by. That was the BLM quote, right?
She just recently said it again with, you know, hey, we're not going to deal, you know, put up with this stuff. We're actually going, you know, I want this, you know, to get out there. We're going to protest and we're going to keep going and we're not going to stop until.
But again, you're saying that she says we're going to get out there and protest. That is not her advocating for violence. So that's her advocating for protesting. You're proving my point. The point is that she's advocating for protesting in these quotes, not that she's advocating for violence. Whereas right now, I can show you 20, 30, 40 examples of the biggest conservative media heads all advocating for war and advocating for violence. I got the libs of TikTok. I've got Elon Musk. I've got, what's his name? Andrew Tate. Like, you can't find me one Democrat, one liberal that is of their size, any of them, that is saying these things, let alone I can find you 40, 50, 60.
I don't agree with that. When they see these people, when do you see people asking people to stop rioting on that left? Just where do you see that?
I will pull it up.
I can see that. I mean, I hear them saying, no, there wasn't a riot. It was
hold
just a
on.
peaceful.
I want to make it absolutely clear, something very clear about all of this. Rioting is not protesting. Looting is not protesting. Setting fires is not protesting. None of this is protesting. It's lawlessness, plain and simple.
So that's Biden. I can show you Kamala saying the same thing. I can show you Obama saying the same thing. I can show you Pelosi saying the same thing. Let's see. This is yeah, again, this is all about her calling out Palestinian protesters, so I'm having trouble finding it because every single clip is her yelling at Palestinian protesters.
All right, moving on from that point then. Okay. I mean,
well, I mean, just to be clear, I mean, when Donald Trump got shot at, Biden immediately came out and denounced the violence, told them that, said that this is never the way, that political violence is never good, and like denounced just unequivocally across the board political violence. Donald Trump came out and said, this is what the left does. This is the violent radical left. This is who they are. They are splitting up our country. This is what Donald Trump does. Donald Trump pours more political divisive rhetoric into the country instead of actually trying to be this, like, you know, symbol of coming together, which is what Biden did. A real fucking leader, a real man, comes out and tells everybody that they need to stop with the political violence, whereas Trump comes out and just blames one side and uses more and more divisive rhetoric.
Biden called MAGA a threat to democracy.
He called MAGA a threat to democracy. Not Trump, MAGA.
Who's MAGA?
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, who's MAGA? I mean,
Well, it's very different, because this is why we're talking about the fact that Donald Trump says things about voters. Donald Trump says things about the country. Donald Trump calls out half the country in his statements, whereas Biden generally just calls out the politicians. He calls out Trump and J.D. Vance, but he doesn't call out the voters.
He doesn't. I mean, come on now, really? He does call out. He calls out the voters. Like I said, he even had Hillary Clinton calling all the people that want Donald Trump to win deplorables.
Sure, and I'll give you that. And Hillary Clinton got a lot of shit for that from Democrats alike. But Biden didn't do this. And if that's our example, again, I'm going to have a billion more of those from Trump than we're going to have of them from Biden or Kamala or Hillary or Obama or any of them. We'll have a billion more from Donald Trump.
You have a million talking points of Biden actually talking about Trump as a threat.
Again, that's Trump. Yes, he says this stuff about Trump. That Donald Trump says similar things about Kamala.
And so when he says things about, you know, Trump and everything else, etc., okay, and there's an assassination attempt, do you think that's not, you know, leading some of his people in that direction to kind of, you know, hey, be a little extreme?
I'm sorry. Hold on. I forgot to turn these off.
The right is arrogant /
You
deluded.
don't think that rhetoric,
They commit so much violence,
you
then
know, of
virtue
influence? I
signal
mean,
cry
they
will
literally
kill
said.
I'm sorry. I
Trump.
said hold on for a second.
January 6th, Buffalo, New York shooter, Paul Pelosi, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, etc. The right is violent and destructive. They mock death.
Okay, sorry. Those are donations that come in from YouTube. I don't have a way of turning them off on this side. We're not just talking about whether or not people use these types of rhetoric. We're talking about something that is like specific to the left, because again, the fact that like we're going to use these examples of Biden or Kamala saying these things, Trump will say them a billion times more, and he'll say them in a much more direct way. Whereas you're saying, well, this leads to violence. Okay, well then why is there more violence being again? Why is there more violence against Democrat politicians than there is against Republican?
I mean, like I said, I don't. You know, so I mean, I didn't have my computer or whatnot, but let's just see. You know, violence against Republican politicians.
Yeah, I can hear the static. I don't know where it's coming from. I'm trying to see if I can fix it, but I don't know where that's coming from.
You had the violence, the attacks on, you know, Scalise. You had Paul Elder, Zeldin.
I'm sorry?
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul. How about Kavanaugh?
Okay.
I mean, there's 5 or 6 that I can see just right there.
Well, yeah, sure.
And then
Again,
obviously-
I'm not denying that. Again, I'm not denying that these things happen to Republicans. I'm denying that this happens at a higher rate to Republicans, but I'm not denying that it happens to them. It's just it's a difference of proportionality.
No, and I think what what resonates with most people on the right with Charlie Kirk, okay, is that you know while he's outspoken in certain beliefs and that I don't see anything as him being hateful.
Well,
He
okay, so
wants
so when you guys say that, like, just calling you guys like fascists or not neo-Nazis or stuff like this is hateful, when Charlie Kirk comes out and uses like slurs for trans people, he says that they're all crazy. He talks about the fact that they do a lot of shootings. He says that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake, that Martin Luther King wasn't actually a hero. Like, you don't think that other people are going to find this like extremely offensive and feel like he hates them.
Well, I mean, like you said, to those points you were just talking about, I mean, he found that basically affirmative action he thought was a mistake. He wants America to be great and everybody to work to be the best in any position that they try to attain, and that we should be judged, on the merit, not on the color of the skin or anything else.
Sure, but that
And
has
when,
nothing to do with the Civil Rights Act. Like, that's the point. The Civil Rights Act is saying that you can't judge people based on the color of their skin or any immutable characteristics. That's the point of the Civil Rights Act.
There's some portions in into the Civil Rights Act that he does. He didn't say he hated all of it. He just said there's some portions to it that he didn't like.
No, he said that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake and that we should repeal it.
Where? I mean, I don't remember seeing that at all. I listen to him all the time. I mean, I've listened to talk about basically how he's talking about when it comes to trans people. He doesn't talk about trans people shooting anybody. He talks that there is a higher suicide rate. There is a mental issue called gender dysphoria. He doesn't have a problem. He didn't have a problem with that, and he was he basically wanted people to get the help that they need. Period. I mean, let me ask you this.
Hold on. I've got it right here. I'll play it real quick.
We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk self-described very, very radical view that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. As we note in the piece, Kirk has previously described Kirk as a hero and a civil rights icon. It's true. I used to be wrong. What inspired Kirk to shift his view on MLK? Why does Kirk think that MLK is a bad guy? When Kirk says that MLK says, quote, one good thing he didn't believe, what does he mean by that? Why does Kirk believe passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Now, again, apparently they don't listen to the show because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. Yeah, and so it's very simple. So how do you love somebody? You love them so much to correct their error. Yeah. And so let's just, take the pride conversation out because people think it's an identification, which it's not. It's just sexual.
Yeah, so the idea is that he just thinks this is a mistake. He wants the world to be better. Okay, well, then the left just thinks that Trump is a fascist and that they want the world to be better by him not being president anymore. If anything that they say, we can just turn around and say, oh, well, that's just their opinion. They just want the world to be better. Well, then I'm going to use those same exact arguments for the other side.
I don't think that's unfair.
Okay, but the idea again is that there is more political violence being used against the left. There's dozens of studies on this that show that the majority of political violence is coming from the right.
I mean, I don't. You're talking about that they were attempting to get at Nancy Pelosi talking about it, but nobody actually did do it. You're talking about Trump.
Wait, no. They actually went to Pelosi's house. The guy attacked Nancy Pelosi. Her husband was there. Her husband got hit in the head numerous times with a hammer. And the reason that the guy showed up there was because he said that people were saying that Nancy Pelosi was pushing the Democrat pack of lies, that she was insulting Donald Trump, that they were hiding Hunter Biden's laptop. Like he had all of the right-wing conspiracy theories that he was there to attack her for. And he ended up attacking her husband in the meantime. Like, it didn't, he was in the hospital for a while. They made fun of Paul Pelosi and Nancy Pelosi when her husband was in the hospital. I have videos of this too if you want to hear it. You can listen to Donald Trump making fun of it. You can listen to Charlie Kirk telling his audience to go bail him out.
The tape was politically motivated. That's fine. Okay, but again, Trump was shot at. Not two, but there was a third time that they were actually circumvent. And like I said, you just had this. You have
Well, again, one of
to,
them was from a Republican, but the again, I'm not denying that those things happen. I'm talking about in proportionalities. The fact that right now there is one side that is demanding war when they have way lesser attacks on their side. It seems a little victim mentality-ish.
I don't, like I said again, I don't see what Dems you're saying are being actually, like attacked.
Okay, so I just gave you a couple examples. I gave you Nancy Pelosi. I gave you the pipe bombs that were sent to Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. I told you that Hoffman and her husband were murdered. I told you that the same guy then went to Hortman, another Democrat leader, where he ended up shooting her husband, who was in the hospital in critical condition for a while. That's when the police showed up and chased him off, but he was planning on going to Walls right after. I have again, January 6th, where they all show up saying that they're there to kill Pelosi and AOC. Gretchen Whitmer was kidnapped they were attempting to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. This is stuff that's happened over and over. There's a Democrat politician who was shot and paralyzed with 20-something others in a mass shooting in, what is it, 22, I forget what it was, but again, yes, it is just the majority of these are happening to Democrats.
I don't see bringing up both sides. I mean, I don't see how it's one.
I'm sorry, we can't keep doing the both sides thing. This is my point, is right now we have Republican leaders across the board calling for civil war. They are not both sidesing this. And the Democrats, whenever they get attacked, they both sides it. Every time Democrats get attacked, they both sides it. And they say, political violence across the board is bad. We should all be against political violence. Every time they get attacked, it's all, we should all be against all political violence. But every time Trump gets attacked, every time Charlie Kirk gets attacked, every time this shit happens, they all say, this is the radical left. This is the violent left. This is them coming after us. We have to go to war. This is them. They are the ones who refuse to do the both sides thing. It's only them calling for war right now. It's only them explicitly calling for violence.
Who's calling for violence? I mean, what politician?
I don't know about. I do have some politicians. I don't know. I can't remember the exact politicians that are doing this, but I said Republican leaders. So the people with the biggest accounts, the people with the most followers, people like Libs of TikTok, people like Joey Manorino, people like Elon Musk, people like Blair White, people like The Quartering, people like Andrew Tate. These are all people who are currently calling for war, calling for violence.
What about, just we want to talk about some of that. What about the messages and stuff that y'all saw from the FBI about Trump not getting in office?
What? Say that again?
About, all the FBI, the director, not James, but, you had some people that were looking into a lot of the stuff for him and saying Trump's not going to get in there.
I'm sorry, what does that have to do with political violence? What is this?
They're saying they'll make sure that Trump doesn't get in.
Okay, what does it have to do with political violence?
I don't know what to take that to mean, but there's things like why didn't Trump actually have any kind of security deal? Why was there people that were on in the Secret Service that basically had just 2 hours worth of training on a video, not even actually real agents?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
By the time he was shot in PA, the testing that happened in PA. You know, it came through when they did the investigation of it. It turns out that a lot of the people on his detail weren't even Secret Service agents before this. They went through an online course and got transferred over from Homeland Security.
Okay.
You know, and this is, you know, like I said, again, you know, they knew about this stuff.
Okay, I still don't know what I've asked numerous times. I don't know, like, what is your point? What are you talking about? This is this.
Why didn't they? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Why didn't they on January 6th and whatnot? Why didn't they what you call it? Let the FBI talk about who was actually on there, what FBI agents were actually on there and being paid, what kind of people were undercover
I'm sorry,
being paid.
I don't know. Do you have those answers? Or do you just have a bunch of questions?
That was the whole point. That basically, that was an issue. You had the one guy who was Ed, whatever his name was, that was inciting. He didn't even get charged.
Okay, I don't know what. I still have no idea what your point is here. I don't know what you're like. What is? Can you tell me what your point is at some point? Sorry?
He didn't even get charged. He was inciting everybody to storm the Capitol.
Who?
On video. What's his name? Ed. What's his name?
He did get charged.
He didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. You're talking about the FBI agent.
Not the FBI agent. You're talking about.
You're talking.
Let me see. I'll show you what it is. What's his name? He had to go away.
YouTube super chat for $5 just said, you have gone too far left. How many videos of people cheering when John Hoffman, Democrat senator, got shot? Have a good life, but I'm out of here. Wait, you just gave me an example of a Democrat senator getting shot, and you're asking me how many people, what is, I have no idea what this has to do with anything. I don't know if you guys I don't know if y'all are just aren't listening or what, but when you're talking about people cheering, we don't have examples of Democrats making fun of Donald Trump or Charlie Kirk getting shot at. We don't have examples of any mainstream Democrat people. We don't have any politicians. We don't have any leaders on the left who are saying this sort of stuff. We don't have any examples of this, but we have tons of them from the right. And every time it happens where some 15-year-old on TikTok laughs at Charlie Kirk's death, they act like this is somehow way worse than Donald Trump laughing at Nancy Pelosi's husband getting attacked. This is not the same thing. The 15-year-old on TikTok is not comparable to the president of the United States. And the fact that you guys even think that the Donald Trump is somehow the same as a 15-year-old shows how much you guys actually think of your own president.
Can you look up how many times Nancy Pelosi has attacked Trump?
Again, I'm not talking about the fact that people are just mocking him. We're not talking about the fact that people are just making fun of him, dude. Can you please tell me what my argument is? Explain back to me what you think my argument is right now.
No, I think you're right. You think that basically there's been more, attacks by the conservative right on Democrats than vice versa.
Mm-hmm. And that if we talk about the type of divisive rhetoric that's used by Democrats, I'm not going to deny that they use this, but I am going to say that the right does it just as much, if not more. And so these are just not equal. They are not equal in any way. And currently, it is all right-wing leaders calling for civil war. This is not the first time they've done this. And I don't have any examples of any Democrat leaders ever calling for civil war. Ever. Not one. I can't think of a single one ever doing this.
Okay, but let me put it this way. Would you say that basically a lot of people are fed up, with basically, social media controlling narratives? Us being fed basically what it doesn't matter if it's right or left. You want to say Fox News is right or whatever like that, or news or whoever is Newsmax. I don't know. I don't look at the shit. But excuse my language. But whatever it is, Is it, it's gotten so rampant that news is not news anymore. It's basically arms of what they're going to tell you, let you know what to do. And people are fed up. And Trump basically said, this is what I'm going to do when I get in office. And he did do it. And when people
Sure,
say,
but
well, why are
that's
you going to
part of my point is that the fact that like conservatives are fed up with this stuff so much faster than Democrats have been either shows that they just have a lack of strength that the Democrats have, or they're just being fed a whole lot of bullshit propaganda that makes it sound like the Democrats are doing things at a much higher rate when in reality it is the Republicans who are doing this at a much higher rate. But I do have other people in line. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you, sir. Oh, the guy's he just left. He's been waiting this entire time, and then as soon as I pulled him, moved on to pull him up, he left. Oh, there he is. Hey, is my mic still glitching and everything?
You sound good to me. And even the background static noise is not really there.
Okay. All right. What do we call you? Your name is 3SC4P1SM.
Kyle.
Kyle?
Can you hear me?
All right, what's up, Kyle? Yep.
Hi there. I guess I don't want to, I know this is a debate channel. I don't want to go too far down the line, back and forth, kind of like, oh, we just interpret things differently. I want to try and focus on something different if we can, if you're interested. And if you get bored of it, you can just, boot me out whenever. But
okay, sure.
So
What do you got?
Conceptually, I'm interested in maybe looking at actual solutions, like tangible things we can do to fix maybe the issues with the government, right? So like root cause stuff, fundamental implementations of law, procedural systems, just things that fix the problems. So it seems like every time I join a YouTube channel or whatever, it's always like, let's all just debate each other endlessly forever, and let's talk about the latest things, argue on our points and our feelings, but it's never like, how do we actually fix the issues? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Sure. So what is the issue?
Okay, so in my opinion, I just kind of thinking through reasoning. If I have a computer virus, right? I gotta like actually be able to look at my computer's memory. I gotta be able to see what it's doing internally, look at the logs, look at the audit logs. You know what I mean? I gotta be able to look at the stuff to see exactly what's happening, to understand like how is this virus working, and then therefore conclude how can I stop it from doing what it's doing.
Correct.
And then therefore I can get my computer basically to work the way I expect it to.
Okay.
So in theory, there's this thing called the Constitution, and then out of that, all of the law and policy and everything stems out of that. And in theory, it's all written down in theory in plain English, but there are some ambiguities and things like that. But if I write a programming language and I have a bug, I can track it down and find it, right? Like if I have a car that breaks down, I can go through the steps of like, it's the key that on the ignition turns, that goes to the starter, that goes to this and that, and then I can kind of solve each one, make sure each thing's working as expected. So basically, I guess what I'm getting at is all of the issues that we often debate over, all the things we see on the news and stuff, they all kind of stem from the government doing things that we don't like. So in other words, I guess my assumption would be the government should be built in such a way that it is constantly improving our lives, making society better, not merely controlling us. You know what I mean? Would you agree with that?
Sure.
Okay. So given that, basically, it seems like all of the systems we have that allow us to troubleshoot our government are kind of all tailored in favor of the power of the government, and they don't allow us to actually really have any influential change or ability, capacity to troubleshoot the problems and correct them. So when I say I want tangible fundamental solutions, I'm not saying necessarily like I want the right to have it their way or I want the left to have it their way. I'm just saying I want the government to work like it's supposed to work, so that we know that whatever it's doing, at least somehow society's going to get better because we're letting it do its job. But its job is designed scientifically to make society better. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. So then going from there, what are the problems then? Like, how does the government control us? I guess what we want is we want the government to control itself. Okay, so how
Right.
does the government control us? Well, it controls us with things like transparency and things like accountability. So, like, if I commit a crime, it shows me on 100 different cameras committing that crime. If I commit the crime and I'm now forced by policemen to go to court and go through this accountability process. So the idea is they don't control us like magically. Like, there is like a procedural system in place. They have cops, they have laws, and all of these things that the cops are supposed to do, and like take you to court and arrest you and read your rights, and all these things that they're supposed to do procedurally. It's all baked into a system that, for some reason or another, is outputting basically tyranny for everybody. Like, we all kind of get an equally shitty government. So the idea would be that it is not behaving correctly, and somehow we need instruments to allow it to behave correctly. Therefore, if they control us with transparency and accountability, then they can control themselves with transparency and accountability. So now it becomes a question of how do we introduce those? Are you following? And does all this make sense? And if not, let's maybe go somewhere and talk about
it does, but I just the problem that I have is that, like, this is why norms within our politics are really important. This is why the norms are huge. And I don't even think, like, we've always known that the norms are an extremely important part of our political process. But I don't think we ever realized how important those norms are until Donald Trump came around and was able to break apart all of those norms fairly quickly with things like suing news outlets, suing law firms, using the DOJ to try to go after his political opponents, people that he just disagreed with, or people that were just mean to him. Like, there's endless amounts of examples of him now just breaking norms in the way that he engages. And I think that is like the part that we maybe took for granted before, is that we just expected people to abide by the norms, and now Donald Trump realizes that he doesn't have to.
Yeah, it really seems that way on, I would say, both sides. But I know you don't like both sides, at least from the last argument on certain subjects. But
I definitely don't like the both sides thing, because I don't think, I think it's like 90% from one side. And what even now, when we're looking at the fact that Donald Trump is getting ready to send the military into another fucking 2 more states right now, that the way that he's claimed tons and tons of states of emergencies so that he's able to do more things and take away more rights, that we've just we've appealed to the president's good faith to not just state that there's a state of emergency for no reason, and now he just keeps doing it because who's going to stop him?
So yeah, I mean, basically what you're saying is, like, the law allows him to do it and for no reason could be up to his interpretation. And so I see what you're saying. So yeah, that's real. So how, like, the idea is then how do we then make sure that our language is very concise, such that it's not misinterpretable, that there is no president that can just kind of ambiguously decide maybe we just have to go fight it out in court.
Well, no, the point is that it's supposed to be fought out in court. It's supposed to go through. Yes, exactly. It's supposed to go through the Supreme Court. But if Donald Trump is capable of just filling up the Supreme Court and the House, the Senate, with a bunch of people who are just going to let him get away with whatever it is that he wants, well, then those processes just don't mean anything anymore.
Okay. So interesting. So now I think the problem is, it sounds like, is that what we're doing is we're basically constantly fighting evolutions of pathways to be corrupt. So, like, on left and right. So, like, right now Trump's kind of taking advantage of it and squeezing through some of the ambiguity, and it happens everywhere. And so the idea would be, if that's the problem, how do we then eliminate that problem? So if the problem is that we have all of these little sub issues that just keep evolving over time, and they can just we make a law for it, the Supreme Court makes a new law, we decide now this is the way, but then they leave in this like ambiguity inside of that law, so now it can be squeezed a little bit in a different direction. So it's like it constantly is evolving with the laws, and the problem seems to be more along the language, the way that we write the laws. Like, it should be such that we can write a law generally in such a way that we just close all the branches that stem off of it. Does that make sense?
But
Like,
it doesn't. But it doesn't work that way, because there have to be people who uphold that law. There have to be people who turn around and hold you accountable for that law. And so it still comes down to the people who are there to be the checks and balances, just the same way as if one of us breaks the law. If there's a bunch of cops around that we've paid off to where they're not going to arrest us, those laws just don't mean anything anymore.
Sure, I agree. Okay, so let's assume that we solved the problem and we're able to come up with generalized ways of killing all the future branches. Okay, so I'm trying to look at this scientifically, right? So logically, right? Rationally, if I were an engineer or something. Okay, so the next thing is, what you brought up is the point of accountability. So we currently have systems of accountability. Majorly, in theory, that should be voting and stuff like that. But like realistically, we have the 2A, which allows everyone to have guns and just kind of defend themselves. That's the only amount of accountability that we had kind of whenever I think our fathers of America designed the Constitution. They didn't have like other ideas or means of doing it. And that was kind of like that was like their general solution. It's just like give everyone guns. But anyway, so how do we hold government accountable in a way that's nonviolent, doesn't require 2A, and it's a lot more practical? Something maybe like a powerful autonomous grand jury would then allow people to autonomously, like maybe through some kind of a petition process, third party, and then having this grand jury spawn. It has access to information. It can now review the truth of the matter, and it can hold people accountable based on it, as opposed to just being like a recommendation, and then the government decides whether or not it wants to hold itself accountable. Powerful in this context would mean they have real power to like actually be like a strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, you're out, or something of that nature that gives us, the citizens, real, true adversarial power, but also maintaining national security secrecy, and also allowing people to then, sorry, I don't know if you can hear that thing driving by. It's loud as
it's
hell.
very, very loud.
So ultimately, what I'm getting at is there are ways to have trust-building systems that allow the citizens to become the adversary. The citizens can now, it's no longer like the 3 branches can work together against everybody. It's like now there's a 4th branch, the citizens, who have the power to actually maintain the balance of power.
But how? Yeah, but what would they be doing then? There's nothing that they can do, especially with the government is militarized. Right now, you have the federal government going in and taking over police forces in numerous states at once. And all of these conservatives have been saying for the longest time that they've been arming up just in case the government ever became totalitarian or dictatorial. But now they're all the ones cheering on the government doing this while it's becoming dictatorial. So I don't know like what the options are in that case.
You've got different levels of tolerances. And I agree. I mean, you're right. This stuff's happening, and I feel like we need to fix it in a sensible way, in a practical way, in a tangible, fundamental way before it escalates to that point. So, and I'm not saying I have all the answers. Maybe you have really good questions I haven't thought thoroughly through. I've been thinking through this a lot, and I've debated a lot. But I think a lot of it comes down to ontology and the way words are ambiguous by nature. But that's not necessarily true in every instance, and it all depends on agreed assumptions. Like you can have a context we can all agree what definitions are and things like that. But anyways, my point is, and what I hope to gain here is that in the future, my point is, I feel like everybody is debating, and they're having these debates about transient ideas and events that happen, and in the long run, they don't really matter because we can't do much about them anyways, and they're just going to keep bringing new fruits of corruption at us, and we're just going to have new things all the time. It's just constantly evolving. So my point is, I hope somehow people will stop doing that, and they'll kind of start to lean in the direction of how do we actually solve it. And I'm not saying I have all the answers, but people should be thinking about these answers, and maybe someone else will figure it out. And that seems like a new thing that we should all be doing together.
I mean, that's literally been the point of our government for the longest time. That's the whole idea, is that they've constantly been trying to improve upon these procedures and trying to build on them, trying to make them stronger. And the fact that, Donald Trump did so little in his first term made it seem as though all of our checks and balances are just extremely strong and our Constitution was very, very fit for the job. But he realized that there's just a much better way to deal with this.
Maybe we're just measuring it wrong. Like, we're training AI right now. Whenever we train AI, it's like if you give it bad data, it's like garbage in, garbage out, right? And if you have bad data that you're looking at quantitatively, deciding like, is the government becoming better? Is society becoming better as a result? If you look at this stuff, maybe there are certain things you can look at, like technologies. People are able to get better health care. They're able to live longer, you know. But then you're also looking at things like, you know, what kinds of things aren't as good, like Epstein and stuff like that, right? So, and I don't know, I don't want to debate about stuff, but the point is, maybe our measurements are the problem, and that we could measure better than what we are now, which seems to just be based on votes, which have no real, at the end of the day, the government says it's a trust-based system. The trust is being depreciated, and there's no real way to actually prove anything the government says is valid one way or another. It's just, you have to appeal to that authority because, of course, they are the authority. So I guess my point being is you're saying the government's doing that, and yet it seems to me the opposite. It seems they are just growing in control, but society's not better off. Like, people are obviously...
Well, it's just that the point is that the government has to do it. That's the whole point, is that one way or the other, the government has to be the one that's doing it. And the only other thing that we can do in return is just to riot and revolt. Like, there's no other real options.
Unless the system allows us to do more. So that's because of the way our system is designed
like
now.
What, though? That's what I'm saying. Like what?
Like when we were under Britain's rule, we weren't... When our fathers got together, they didn't debate about, like, was King George better than another queen or whatever. They were debating about how can we fundamentally get rid of tyrant kings. They were thinking about how can we do this, like, mechanically, procedurally, logically, systematically. So in that same spirit, we ought to be doing that now. How can we get rid of all types of tyrants altogether? Just a general solution to the problem of tyranny, right? It could be emergent tyranny. It doesn't have to necessarily even be malice. It could be everything working the way it is so complex. The outcome is tyranny. How do we fix it? We need a solution that now even solves those problems. So the point being is that there are better systems, and I think we're getting trapped in this, like, here's the current paradigm. We think, therefore we are, therefore society is the way it is, as opposed to I think, therefore I am. We ought to be trying to come up with these solutions, and it seems almost like, it really feels like next tier human, because at this point, everyone's like, it's impossible, this is just the way it is, there's no way out of it, this is how we do things, there's no solution, because we're basically in Babylon. But maybe there is, and we just aren't even trying to figure it out because we're just cutting it off at the beginning, saying it's impossible. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's just again, it doesn't seem. If you don't have an actual answer for how that's capable of being done, it's just a hypothetical. We should be able to fly from one place to another, guys. We should just be able to fly. But I have no idea how we can fly. We just should be able to. Like, sure, that's a great idea.
So here's the answer. One day, at some point, people said that I want to fly like a bird. Eventually, we got scientists. They performed science. They discovered, lift, things like that. They were able to develop spacecrafts, aircrafts, and the point is that science did that. So we use science. Science is an example of something that is an example of a systematic process that, in every fucking possible statistic, has improved society in a lot of measurable ways. Not only that, but it has improved itself. Its own self becomes more consistent. That might be plateauing now, like a logarithm or something, but just due to AI and spam and things like that. But the point being is that science was able to do that, and for some reason we're not, like, applying that systematically in any way to improve the government. And if you're looking for answers, I think I started with they control us with transparency and accountability. If we did the same thing to them, we control them. So our adversarial, powerful grand juries and putting body cameras on politicians and elected officials 24/7, higher standard, they now have the ability to show us that they're doing their job. We can see it on camera, and at any moment they're not, we can ding them for it, and we can hold them accountable. And so we create, like, a positive feedback loop. The citizens themselves, because you might be interested in one thing, I could be interested in another thing. So I can be going after that thing, you could be going after your thing, and together we're both making the government better adversarially. Does that make sense?
I guess.
I think that's doomed to fail.
Perhaps, but we haven't even, like, really conceived it or conceptualized it or even thought about it. And if it is doomed to fail, there might be better solutions. There's a million ways.
I think we have. I think it's called democracy, and like, maybe democracy is like in the process of failing in America potentially, but, like, that is how democracy works is you get the people to have their say. Like, it's not as maybe direct as what you're saying. Like, you want more accountability, you want like an easier time to hold the government accountable. But I mean, there's a reason why things are slow and they take time, and it takes lots of like elections, and it takes your system of electoral system's a little bit complicated. But like, yeah, I mean, this I guess it sounds like you think it's more of a failure than I think it is, even with Trump in office.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily, I think it's a very natural progression. I think we're a lot better than we were some point in the past, and maybe there's things we can learn from the past, like, for example, patchwork feudalism, which allowed more like dynamic governing systems. And if you had something of a super government, what I'm saying is I have other theories. I can go on into those things that maybe will blow your mind, dealing with chaos theory and things like that, the way statistics aggregate and shit like that in black boxes. The point is there are systematically conceivable, logical, optimal ways to do things. In the same way that we're using AI to explore the latent space of all possible AIs and look for AIs that are better than others, you can do that with government. And there's no reason you couldn't. And the only reason that we couldn't is that we don't even want to try, because we just decided democracy is better. So maybe democracy is better, but I think the point is scientifically to show it. A/B test, look at the data, look at the statistics, show the results. Okay, this is better. And even better would be if we can actually model. It's complex because governments, you can't really model, you can't simulate them efficiently. Maybe with AI you can a little bit more, because AI can play the role of humans and what their feelings are and things like that, and the chaos of all of that. But purely statistically, you can probably model it. It just wouldn't be exactly like the human American, government. The point being is that I think there are ways to improve it, and we're not even looking in that space. We're not even trying to even conceive a way to do that. We're just like, let's just keep doing what we're doing and see what happens. But what we're talking about right now is everyone's debating about civil war. Like, we can't see what happens if we're all shooting each other. So we really got to maybe figure this out before that happens, or before AI gets really advanced and powerful, evil people are able to use that to their advantage and against our advantage. Because at some point we have guns, but we can't use guns to fight super like intelligent robots. You know what I mean? So it's not gonna matter if we have guns or not. So I guess what I'm getting into is you're immediately wanting to fall back to we have democracy, it works. I agree. We are kind of naturally heading in a direction of a solution, but maybe it needs to be faster than we naturally can get there. And so we actually have to work hard to get there sooner, as opposed to just letting it happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do
maybe.
need to move on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess alternatively, maybe AI just takes over and it does a lot better job than we ever could, and perhaps that's what'll happen. But also maybe not. Maybe we're all just gonna be gossiping and fighting with each other for the next 3,000 years, and we'll figure it out. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I think we've gotten this far, but I think we could do better. That's what I'm saying. I think there are like logical, rational ways to do better. Everybody grandstanding about how I'm logical and rational. It's like they're totally ignoring this in a huge spectrum of other opportunities. And it just seems really naive in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah, you're muted, by the way, Tom. I can't hear you at all.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hog everybody's time. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I was just saying that. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move on, but I appreciate it.
No, all good. That's what I noticed. Everybody moving on. See, man, it's not fun. It's not fun to.
I mean, you're bringing up huge concepts that can't be discussed really, like, and you're saying like the way problems are solved is like communicating and debating, and then you're saying like that doesn't really work, but that is kind of how things work. It just doesn't work as rapidly as you want. Like, your ideas need to really be fleshed out. I literally don't know what the fuck you just said. I'm not gonna lie, I have no fucking idea what you're on about. But
yeah, to me, like, that's what I'm saying, is it's just I don't have, like, I would need like a more detailed system. I would need to actually have like a way to do it, and if part of that is just like scrapping the Constitution in the meantime, it's just like it's a little too ridiculous. So
I agree. I mean, but let me just make one last point before I leave. You're never going to get there if you're spending all day talking about who's right about this current distraction. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. You have to actually be trying to get there.
Well, I mean, we're like one day, yeah, sure, but like the majority of like the time, we're not sitting around talking about like the partisan differences between violent rhetoric or anything like that.
That's really what everyone is doing, every single person, and they make money from it. I get it.
Well, no, I'm saying that that's not what I do every single day. I'm saying that the majority of the time, that's not what I'm talking about.
It is.
Why?
It is what you
All right, take this guy. I wanna talk to you
Yeah,
about
I'm sorry.
something.
You can keep
Thank
saying
God.
yeah, you keep saying that's what they all do. I'm not making a statement about them all. I'm talking about myself. So you can keep pivoting to they all do this. Okay, fine. I'm not talking about them all. I'm talking about me, but whatever.
God, that was exhausting. I thought he was coming on to like have a good debate. He said, "Let me debate you," and then he came on and said, "I don't want to. I don't like debate." Like, okay, fuck off then, dude. So have you seen the video of like the interview on Fox and Friends with Trump when he like talked about Kirk Shooter and stuff, and he talked about all this
No.
stuff?
No.
You
Why?
should
What did he
watch
say?
that because
Yeah,
it
I'm
is
probably not going to be able to watch it
wild.
on TikTok, but
Okay.
the
Well, I mean, he answers. It is frustrating to watch because the Fox and Friends guys are trying to help him give the answer that is what everyone wants right now, which is to de-escalate and to like. What do you say to people? Like, there's radicals. I think one of the women interviews him and says, "There's radicals at the moment on the left, but there's also radicals on the right. Like, people are frightened and blah blah blah. What do you say? How do we fix this?" And they said questions like this probably 2 or 3 times to try and get him to give like a reasonable response. And I think the best you got out of him was, well, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but I don't really give a shit. The right is righteous in their the radical right is righteous. They just want less crime. The radical left, they just want to kill you or something like that. Like he's just immediately gone to saying
just
the right's fine. It's all the left's problem. The left. And he doesn't really give a shit about fixing the problem. But
I was waiting.
He said, sorry, just one more thing. He said, well, the way you fix it is you fix it at the ballot box. But unfortunately, the ballot box is rigged. So.
Yeah, of course.
That's what he said.
Well, yeah, so I was waiting for him to get off because there's a bunch of people in chat who keep going like, oh, wow, I can't believe you're celebrating his death. Like, this is what I'm talking about. You guys are such babies. You guys are such fucking victims. You guys so badly want to be victims. Nobody here is celebrating Charlie's death. I have denounced it. I've denounced the people who are celebrating it. I've talked about how gross it is. But, like, you guys are so fucking, like, you have this hardcore desire to be fucking victims to where even right now we have libs of TikTok, Laura Loomer, all of these other people who are out there doxing everybody who they say are celebrating his death, which is already just the biggest like crybaby thing you could ever do. I can't imagine. But yes, but on top of that, the if you go through a lot of it, the majority of it is not them celebrating it. The majority of them are them actually like denouncing it, saying this is bad, this is gross, like blah, blah, blah. Almost every single one of them is them denouncing it across the board. And then you guys still come, oh, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Oh, why are you doing this to me? Upset. Nobody did anything to you, dude. Get over yourself. You're a fucking baby.
Yeah, they're upset that people are just not as sad as them. Literally.
Yes,
like,
that's what it is.
The post that they're getting upset about, it's like, you're not mourning hard enough. You didn't say that you're really, really upset that Kirk died. It's like, so? Not everyone liked the guy, dude. We don't have to actually care as much as you. Like, this is the most snowflake shit I've ever seen. It is the left, like the left that they've created in their minds, like the libs of TikTok left. I call it the libs of TikTok strategy now, where they just deem the left to be this thing of TikTok, like that they've this worst of all things. That's what they're actually doing, though. They're actually become now.
Yes, they are those
cancel
people.
culture. They're screaming, crying. They are now the libs of TikTok.
Yeah, because the same thing with the cancel culture is that, like, I don't know of any examples of any, like, prominent left-wing content creators, prominent left-wing YouTube channels, prominent lefties who are like some of the biggest content creators with millions of followers or anything, who are out there doxing people, who are calling for them to lose their jobs, who are trying to, who are calling their bosses, who are calling their schools. But that's all Libs of TikTok does. She's constantly doxing people, constantly trying to get people fired, constantly engaging in cancel culture. The right is everything they pretend to hate. They are across the board. Everything they pretend to hate. And on top of that, they're literally all over like Twitter right now saying that like we need Trump to be a real dictator. We need Trump to finally be an actual dictator. It's like that. We know, dude. We know that's what y'all have been wanting the whole time. We know this isn't new. Again, you guys pretend like, oh, now that this happened to Charlie, now we're going to say this. No, you guys have said this the whole freaking time. You're just finding a way to justify it now. That's all.
Yeah, it's really frustrating that it seems like, and I think it's also a bit of a trick, like an illusion happening as well. It seems like a lot of people believe this crap. Like Trump and the Republican Party and the right media figures are very good at like making a perception reality. So as long as they say it enough times and they all say it in unison, then they can basically it just becomes true that the Democrats are this and this is what's happening. But unfortunately, like we still have stats, we still have studies, we still have like reality still exists, and there's still a lot of people who can see through this crap. It's just unfortunately they're just like not as loud. Like it just seems like they're being drowned out by this nonsense, but they're still there. And I think as long as everyone just keeps their head on and doesn't lose their mind too much, which is easy to do when you're being gaslit like constantly, it's very easy to make these people look foolish. They're doing it themselves. They're
well, yeah,
just
and I have a bunch of
believing,
people on Twitter
like,
right now who
absolute lies.
I'm showing them like the studies that all say that like right wingers commit 99% of the murders in political violence, and there's all of these people, all these right wingers on Twitter saying, no, it's not, you're wrong, no, it's not. And I'm like, okay, show me like a study that says otherwise. And they're like, no, I'm not, no, Grok is biased. Like, okay,
Yeah, but
don't
they
ask
know-
Grok
because they
then.
know.
Like, I didn't ask Grok. I asked Grok to give me sources. It sourced all of these studies. If I send you all of these studies plus more, I got 2 or 3 more that say the same exact thing. If I send you 5 studies now that say that the right is responsible for 99% of the murders, will you then agree with me? And then they just immediately pivot to something different. And I keep coming back, yes or no.
Yeah,
If I
they
send you the
can't
studies,
actually.
will you agree that there's immediately pivot to something different? And they're all partisan hacks. The problem is that like when I'm out here and I actually like condemn the violence, I condemn the people who are cheering it on. I condemned Luigi. I was on Kyle Rittenhouse's side. I called out what's his name? David Pakman for stochastic terrorism. I called out Vosh for it. I called out Hassan. I called out Destiny. Like, I am constantly calling out people on my own side. But all of these people, they refuse to do it while acting like I'm the one who's being partisan. Words will never hurt you. Okay, well,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Good. Then I'm glad that you agree that all of the people who are claiming that people calling Donald Trump a Nazi or calling
Kirk's a fascist.
Kirk a fascist,
Yeah.
that yes, I'm glad you agree that those words did not hurt them, and they're all just being big babies about it. We're on the
thanks.
same side.
Yeah, I agree with the people who are saying that like calling Kirk a fascist is what's done this are literal crybabies. Like you just proved our point. Yeah, because words don't actually equal, like especially if they're true. Sadly, like unfortunately, they're just true. The left, when they're saying stuff about Trump, it's just true. But the right is just always full of lies, lies. You should probably talk to Rob Knorr because he's been losing his mind. The title of his stream today, he just went live like 10 minutes ago. The warning signs were always there of the radical left.
Yeah, all of these
But it's
people,
like, okay, does everybody forget that on the day that Kirk got like hit, a conservative, like anti-Semitic, like white Christian boy went into a school and committed like a mass shooting? Apparently that doesn't matter. Like as long as we just ignore all of the conservative culprits and we only focus in on this one situation, then you can just call everything like chaos and radical left and blah blah blah. Like, but Rob would it's just embarrassing.
Yep. Well, and that's part of the problem is that like all these people, when they say words can never hurt you, they're saying that like, oh, stochastic terrorism doesn't exist. But as soon as somebody shoots at Trump, they all believe in stochastic terrorism. As soon as somebody shoots at Kirk, they all believe in stochastic terrorism. But the second like that we call it out for the other side, for the majority of these murders, they don't believe in it. They don't believe it's real. But like something happens to them, the left must own this. The mainstream media owns this every freaking time.
Yeah, I wrote a list of I wrote my own characterization on Twitter of conservatives right now, and it was like, Charlie Kirk is a moderate, right? Apparently, Charlie Kirk's a moderate now. Trans people make up 50% of the USA, and they are either too weak to be in the military or like skilled assassins. Autism vaccines equal autism. Like,
So okay,
just,
so
the list
Survivor.
goes on and on for action, and this is not even me just making stuff up. This just seems to be the Republican Party now, sadly.
Yeah, so Survivor 64119 said, "What a fucking dumbass. Conservatives don't burn down their cities whenever something doesn't go their way or try to assassinate their political opponents. Your ignorance is mind-boggling." So again, they do. We've gone over tons of examples here today. I can go over a bunch more, but the fact that they tried kidnapping Gretchen Whitmer over the COVID lockdowns, the fact that they tried killing Nancy Pelosi and ended up hurting her husband instead, the fact that they went after Hoffman and ended up killing her and her husband, the fact that they went after Hortman and ended up putting her husband in the hospital and in critical condition. They were going to go after the same guy was going to go after Walz after, but the cops caught him and chased him off before he could go after Walz. The fact that they went after AOC and Pelosi after that, the fact that they sent pipe bombs to Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and 9 other Democratic targets for criticizing Donald Trump because they're too sensitive and they're not willing to engage with the actual criticisms. Like they do this
January 6th?
all the time.
I mean, wasn't January 6th just crying over the fact that you thought there was an election stolen when actually you just lost? Like, all that happened was you lost an election and you went and tried to like tear down a building, like you tore down barricades, beat up police, went into the Capitol, somebody died. Like, this was you crying because you lost an election. I hope you understand that.
Yeah. So yeah,
sorry, I was making a copy.
The idea that none of these people are doing the same thing is just, it's incorrect. And factually, they again, the conservatives commit the majority of political assassinations, and killings. They do the majority of these. I have just one screenshot right here for the people on YouTube. This is, oh, you can't see it. Crap. Okay. Well, it says, based on New America's data, since 9/11 updates through recent years, among 138 deaths from far right and far left ideologies, but the far right accounts for 137 of the 138, which is over 99%, and the far left accounts for 1, which is less than 1%. According to the ADL's 2024 report, it shows that all 13 extremists within that year were right-wing. None of them were left-wing. According to the FBI, the right accounts for 99% of political assassinations. According to the DHS, the right wing accounts for 99% of political assassinations. This is not controversial. This is not something that we don't know. This is not something that we're quabbling over. This is something that is well known, that it is just the right who is consistently going after people. And even if you look at school shootings, by far the majority of them are not political. By far the majority of them are not political in nature. Most of them are a kid who got bullied, or a kid who's mad that his teacher didn't give him the right grades. But in the ones that are, again, the right owns the majority of those as well. But
usually
again,
religious people. I think this is just a lot of cope, because religious people are massive victims, and they need to be victims right now because something bad happened and their feelings are hurt. So instead of just being reasonable, rational, looking at how things actually play out in reality, they're like, owie, ouch, 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 and they have to, I have to be a victim right now. If you don't permit me to be a victim, then I'm going to throw a tantrum the way that I accuse all lefties of doing. That's essentially that's what it comes down to. It is just coping during a tough time for them, and they're coping by just lying. It's kind of sad. It's actually more close to the mental illness that they describe trans people having. So,
yeah, well, again, so the 99% figures are through 2023, and 2024 was 100% right-wingers. I'm not going to deny that, yes, of course, there's been a couple of left-wing ones in the last year. But the problem is that, again, so we have like Mangione, we have I think one of the Trump shooters was on the left. There were, I think, 2 trans shooters recently. And so the idea that, sure, we have 4 or 5 from the left more recently, and I even think that the Kirk shooter seems to be on the left as well. I think it's really cringe that a lot of these lefties are running around trying to pin this on the Groypers or some shit. And I've been calling them out. I got videos on TikTok of me making fun of these people and calling them out for trying to pin this on the Groypers. But again, this is that's 4 or 5 out of 150 since 2020. 2001. So we're still at 5 out of 150, or sorry, 140. That would be 144. And yes, we would be at 5 for the left. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that even if you just let's not even go historical. Let's just talk about what's happened in the last year, recently, because I know that's what everybody is trying to do to eliminate history, I guess, because it's just what they do. Oh, sorry. Even if you just take recent times things, I just again just saying it is all Democrats. First of all, Democrats as in what, the politicians, you can't just say that it's people that are, I have yet to see one single Democrat not condemn political violence, not condemn radical stuff. I don't know, this idea of the politicians themselves in the Democratic Party is just so detached. And I think, yeah, they're just finding the most schizo 15-year-olds on TikTok and saying, look, they're deranged. And it's yeah, well, they're 15 and they're kids and they're just figuring stuff out. Everyone's kind of deranged when they're younger. People just say and do stupid shit. It's important that as long as the politicians and the leaders aren't encouraging that, and I don't think they are. I haven't seen any example of that. In fact, what I've seen in the last 48 to 72 hours is the right wing just calling for war. Escalating accelerationism. You got the president of the USA who's cannot seem to muster out a single sentence of unity at all. It's so bizarre. There's been an assassination and there's not a single sentence of unity spoken by the man. But it's and then you wonder, you wonder why no one cares when you're crying about the divisiveness of the left. It's because it just doesn't exist when you have a man like Trump in office. It's just, yeah, just talking about right now and the recent happenings, at least I can say that the Democrats have condemned it and the Democrats do not condone this crap. But I can't say that for the Republicans. I can't say that for Trump, sadly. So
okay, Z King,
you can cry about it all you want, but until Trump says something, it's just kind of pointless.
Z King for $5. Thank you for the tip, sir. He said the right is arrogant / delulu. They commit so much violence, then virtue signal and cry wolf if they get even a threat of violence. Here, I'll pull Scratch up. Just give me a minute to continue on this. Let's see. So much violence and virtue signal and cry wolf if they get even a threat of violence. January 6th, Buffalo, New York, shooter Paul Pelosi, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, etc. The right is violent and destructive. They mock the death. I don't know that, I don't think that the Ahmaud Arbery or the George Floyd ones are examples of, political violence. So those don't really count. That, those are political violence. But because we can't just look at anytime somebody on the left or the right commits violence. If the majority of black people are on the left, we're all of a sudden going to be taking on a whole lot more freaking crimes if we're just counting people who just happen to be on the right or the left. Let's see. The $5 super chat from Jay So High said, you have gone too far left. How many videos of people cheering when John Hoffman, Democrat senator? Yes, I'm sorry. I'm going over super chats real quick.
Okay, sorry. I was wondering how this was going to go.
Sorry, I had said right before I pulled you on, I'm going to pull Scratch up, but let me finish going over these first. How many videos of people cheering when John Hoffman, Democrat senator, got shot? Have a good life, but I'm out of here. Again, I went over the fact that that people did.
That doesn't make any sense.
He's saying He's saying that because people are cheering about Charlie Kirk, that there's no examples of people cheering when Hoffman got shot. But the difference is that, one, again,
Literally
we do
Charlie
have
Kirk.
examples of the fact that like Trump and Charlie Kirk were making up memes and stuff about when Pelosi's husband got hit. They all lied about the guy who went after Hoffman and Hortman and said that they were Antifa, that they were FBI, which they did about January 6th as well, which they did about the guy who went after Paul Pelosi. Sources on what? Just say sources. I have videos on this if you want to go watch them. I have numerous videos with all of these sources. All right. The Trib, thank you for 31 months as a member, good sir. He said more like patchwork gayism, am I right? True. Devin for 8 months.
True.
Said Tom's a simp. Thank you, sir. And then Devin for $5 said balls. And then for $2 from KEG, he said our founding fathers didn't gossip, they fixed the government. Well, again, the point is that like right now there is a massive amount of misinformation. The fact that you would call this gossip when we literally have right-wing leaders across the board calling for civil war, and the fact that I'm coming out here to debunk their ideas that they're using to call for civil war, which is that the left is this horribly violent group, when in fact, if we did want to characterize one or the other as this, it would be the right, yet the Democrats don't do the same thing and call for civil war and try to go after them the same way that they go after us. So okay, and then your bits of context. What was what are you asking for context for? What are you asking for sources for? I'm not going to ask you again. If you're going to keep fucking whining in chat about this
You can
shit,
just go to
tell me what it is that
Twitter
you want.
page and see him mocking Pelosi if you want to see something.
Okay, from my understanding, just from my understanding, there's a lot of disinformation going around right now that the Tyler Robinson guy had a actual trans partner when the person was like the roommate. If I'm correct.
I think Fox. Well, I don't know if you can trust Fox News, but Fox News did confirm it. So I sent Tom the link earlier that it's actually come out on mainstream media now that it's been confirmed that they were in a romantic relationship and they were apparently trans. But I don't know.
Yeah, it does seem as though it might have been his actual romantic partner, but it does seem as though they were on the left. All these people trying to make it sound like they were a Groyper, just they're stretching the information.
You're stretching it, yeah. I did a lot of disinformation because we had like the TRN stuff that was on the ends of the bullets that people were trying to make into trans stuff.
Yeah, the FBI has wasn't the FBI, but Cash Patel screwed up a couple times as well.
Yeah, senior FBI official came out and said we don't know what the fuck that you're talking about. There's nothing like trans ideology in that.
I think the trouble is the memes, man. It's all memes. A couple of these shooters are it's all memes. So how do you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's pretty clear now. And it sucks. And I don't know what. It's really the most annoying part about all of this is that anyone is just sitting around who is it so that we can decide which side to condemn. And it's why don't you just talk about how shit's getting out of control?
Yeah, again, whenever this happens to somebody on the left, they're willing to condemn the violence across the board. And whenever it happens to somebody on the right, they want to blame the left and make a big deal about it and play victim. And yes, it's drastically different reactions.
Yeah, because they're children. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Pat. I was like, hey, you guys, pretty concerning. Donald Trump was calling to beat up Democratic politicians, and then they're like, I don't want your shit scratched right now. I don't want that. I'm just gonna Tucker just got unalive. Dude, I get that Tucker got unalive. It doesn't justify the president saying it's okay to beat the hell out of Democrats.
Yeah,
I don't know
dude saying
how
his
he's getting away with
parents.
half the stuff he's saying.
Dude say, Bald Phoenix said he was raised by conservatives. Yeah, all lefties were raised by conservatives, bro. The left isn't having babies. No, like the majority of the fucking left was raised by conservatives and then moved to the fucking left. Like that doesn't mean anything that he was raised by conservatives. I was raised by conservatives. Mantis was raised by conservatives. Like almost all of us were raised by conservatives. So it's just
no, technically I wasn't, but anyway.
okay.
My dad was from the silent generation, and he was very big on. I think he was pretty prog for his time. Dude, how do we feel about Kirk being called moderate now? The way they're trying to rewrite history. What is that?
Insane. Like he literally promoted like the Great Replacement conspiracy theories. He was a Christian nationalist at some point in his life.
He's a Christian nationalist.
Well, at least
yeah.
Publicly he did out. At one point, he was saying like, "Oh, we don't need a separation between church and state," and he went back on it. Like in 2020, I think it was. He was saying like, "Oh, we don't need a separation of church and state. We need to have them together." And then by like 2024, he was renouncing it. But yeah, definitely, like trying to rewrite history. Like it's really disgusting.
I also don't know why they would want to signal that he is moderate. That just literally proves our point that the Republican Party has gone like extremely far right. If he is moderate, then that is what we're talking about. We are saying that MAGA is so insane that, yeah, the Republican Party is far right now. So thank you for proving our point.
Yeah, that's what I said to Rob
I don't know
Noor.
why you would say that.
That's what I said to Rob Noor, where he's like,
really
dude,
hate
he
the,
was
like, oh,
normal
Charlie
for
Kirk
our
was like
side. He was pretty average for our side. And I'm like, yes, the guy who said that like we should repeal the Civil Rights Act, the guy who says he's a Christian nationalist.
Did he actually, was that his really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll play it for you real quick.
Yeah, he hates.
I'll play it for you real quick.
He
Hold
doesn't
on.
like the Civil Rights Act.
Hold on, I'm gonna play.
We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy.
I know that one.
Kirk self-described very, very radical. View that
That's
the
actually
country
terrible.
made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. As we note in the piece, Kirk has previously described
That's
Kirk
like,
as a hero. And
Hold on.
Is he like libertarian in that sense?
Hold on. Can you hear this?
What inspired Kirk to shift his view on MLK?
No, we can't hear it.
Wait, you guys can't hear it?
You need to
No, I
turn on
can't hear
background
anything.
music in TikTok Studio for guests. It's like click on like the mixer thing.
No, I already
Just
had
really
it on.
like
The
that
last
music.
caller listened to it. He
Really?
could hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed now. We can't hear it. I don't know what happened.
Okay, hold on. One more time. Listen to this.
Okay. Why does Kirk think that MLK is a bad...
You guys can't hear that.
Can't hear it.
Nah. It's okay. Just play it for the other audience then. But Scratch, you should check it out. Like, go look it up. It's all over the place. Like, he was very vocal about it.
Well, no, hold on. I need to fix this then. If that's not going through.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. I don't. I'm talking about somebody advocated against, like, wasn't he openly anti-evolution?
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody against climate change. Like, it's just fuck me, man.
Yeah. Like,
Okay. All right. Well, then
he's-
y'all hold on for a second. Yeah, I'll
don't
play
know.
it for the audience.
Okay.
bad guy. When Kirk says that MLK says, quote, one good thing he didn't believe, what does he mean by that? Why does Kirk believe passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Now, again, apparently they don't listen to the show because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. Yeah, and so it's very simple. So how do you love somebody? You love them so much to correct their error.
Yeah.
And so let's just, take the pride conversation out because people think it's an identification, which it's not. It's just sexual behavior. But it's if you meet an alcoholic or you meet a drug addict, do you affirm their struggle? No. You say, you're better than this. Let's get you free from that.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. That's what we're talking about.
Yep.
But
I mean,
if any of you guys
just think
all
that
in the
it's
chat
hard-
want to come over and talk about this, just come over to tiktok.com/@TomFooleryShowLive, or sorry, @TomFooleryShow/live, or just go to my channel and click on the link. But yeah, if you guys are actually willing to get into it, head over and request up. Otherwise, I'll be heading off pretty soon.
Sure. I think
Okay,
the thing
I'm
that I've
gonna
been
drop.
harping on isn't, yeah, I think the thing I've been harping on every night the most isn't that, and this is kind of my opinion. Both sides seem to turn down their rhetoric, but really the right needs to acknowledge that they're the ones doing the majority of the legwork when it comes to like turning it up. Number one, and two, that they're the ones who started it. Even though absolutely there's people enough who need to like turn down the rhetoric. I think it's really disgusting when like people like Matt Walsh come out and say like, oh, they killed us or unalived us in the churches. Oh, so now it's not the time to turn down the rhetoric. And like fucking, who was it, Steven Crowder saying like, oh, this like kind of saying like a civil war is inevitable, right? I think it's pretty disgusting. And the president of the United States, what he said was absolutely the worst. But yeah, I think that's kind of my narrative right now.
Yep. Yeah, this is the problem, is that like Donald Trump, every time he's in office, that's when all the riots happen, that's when all the major protests happen, that's when the most political violence happens. It's just always under him, but somehow it's the left's fault. So all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna head out.
Actually, what's your opinion on Destiny's like game theory shit?
Game theory? I don't know. What do you mean?
Maybe you're looking at watch or react to latest video. He has a very interesting opinion. He's basically saying that he's not gonna like apologize.
You're talking about like the prison? Yeah, it's the prisoner's dilemma.
Yes,
it's that. So for chat, the idea is that like if you're in prison and some of the prisoners are like breaking all the rules, they're like using violence to like get their way and get over on everybody, and they're always trying to make sure that they're like that they get all of the resources. It's kind of like the idea if like you and a person get stuck on an island together and one of those people just keeps stealing all the resources and collecting it for themselves, and they're not willing to share it with you unless you do X, Y, and Z for them. Well, now you don't have much of a choice but to now go and also steal all the resources and try to hold it captive for yourself. And so the idea is that one side of the political spectrum is constantly crying wolf, saying that everything's against them, everybody's trying to kill them, everybody's trying to hurt them, that all of the political violence is against them, that they have that it's always the left who's being violent, when in reality it is them. But every time they do things that are violent, we come out and say, yes, all political violence is bad. Like, we need to tone down the rhetoric. We need to make sure that everybody's, working together. We are one country. We are one people. And then every time people go after them, they come out and they're like, the left is violent. We have to go to civil war. We have to stop these people. And so, yeah, if they're going to do that every single time, we're now getting hurt and losing over and over and over because we're not willing to actually engage in the same way and call them out for what is real. They're calling us out for things that are fake. We're not even calling them out for what is real. And so at this point, we just kind of have to, we can't be the ones to tone down the rhetoric if they're continuously escalating the rhetoric.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's still room for us to call out our own side, or do you think it's just we can't apologize at all?
I mean, I'm still like calling out my own side. Like, I'm still calling out people who are like, celebrating his death. I've called out people today for trying to make it sound like he was on the right and that he's a groiper. I called out people for saying that, like, for getting mad at like Dean and Parker and Good Trouble for like getting upset about the death and saying like how sorry they were about it and crap. Like,
mad at Dean right now.
What do you mean?
Did you see the Corvée conversation he had?
I don't know what that is.
He completely cucked out. Okay, so Corvée, I think it's about her name, is a black woman in his audience, and she went up on his like panel or on a show, and she was saying, well, white people can feel bad about this, but understand black people aren't going to apologize. We've been oppressed by whites, so we don't have to feel bad.
Oh, he came out with a video. He came out with a video today where he made it to where he was like, "Well, guys, the reason I was upset was because my best friend Parker was there, and an Unfuck America tour guy was in the middle of talking to him, and it was just it was very personal for me in the moment, and I was very like upset and blah blah blah." And instead of like, yeah, it being about like, yeah, of course I'm going to show like empathy for like him, his family, his kids, and blah blah blah, which is what he was originally saying. Now he's like, oh, it was just a personal thing for me in the moment, I just got emotional.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, he is definitely cucking out. Yep, he is definitely cucking out. He is.
Yeah, it's just so I fucking hate. I don't hate black women. I hate black women who use their status as a minority to then like leverage it to like try and like make it, oh, it's okay for us to have horrible, disgusting beliefs because we're a minority. No, it's still bad when you do it.
Yep. Yep. Well, and even like it's really weird that like liberal people on this app keep like coming out every single time something happens. They turn around and they're like, these people are attacking. Some of these people that they're attacking are black women, and so this is wrong. And it's like, what? Shut the fuck up, dude. What is wrong with you? Like that's what happened with the Taylor Lorenz thing recently, where they kept saying like, yeah, so a lot of the people that they're going after in the chorus program are black women. It's like, so what? Shut the fuck up, dude. They did it with the accountability archives. Some of the people on those archives are black women. Shut up, dude. Get over yourself, bro.
Holy shit. We know target attack minorities doesn't justify him unaliving. Doesn't mean you can celebrate it. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate you coming on.
Ridiculous, but thank you, man.
All right. Later. But all right, yeah, for people who are still on YouTube saying that, like, because you guys don't have examples of anybody on the left celebrating this. You just don't. Like, you keep saying, oh, you want me to go get you examples? Yes, I want you to go get me examples. Okay, well, you still haven't given me any fucking examples. But I have tons of these examples from the right where this guy's saying, I'm ready for civil war. This is Elon Musk saying, if they won't leave us in peace, then our choice is to fight or die. This is... American Papa Bear saying, we are at war, are you ready? This is John Zerka saying the Civil War has begun. I can go over about 30 freaking examples of this. Should I send it on Discord? Yeah, sure. I would almost bet money that it's not going to be a celebration, or it's not going to be a big Democrat leader, but go ahead. Let's see what you got. It's just random people though. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's just going to be random people. Well, I mean, again, like I've disavowed like the people who were doing it. But yeah, the problem is that if we're talking about leaders within the party, if we're talking about leaders of the Democrats, we're talking about people who are representative of their ideology. Yes, no, you showing me random people is not going to be any sort of representation of the left. Because the claim is, this is the left. This is what the left is doing. The left is doing this. The left is doing that. Whereas like, yeah, I'm not going to go find a bunch of screenshots of random conservatives saying horrible things online or on Reddit or on TikTok. Or on TikTok. I'm going to go show the biggest leaders within the movement. I'm going to go show Donald Trump. I'm going to show Elon Musk. I'm going to show a JD Vance. I'm going to show those people. But they're claiming that they do have Democrat leaders who are saying these things. So yeah, if you have those, send them to me. But I don't think you have them. But yeah, I mean, and then even like the stuff about like, oh, well, you called us fascists, you called us Nazis. First off, the only person that I know of that ever called Donald Trump a Nazi that was a politician was JD Vance. Okay, I don't know of any other politicians who ever called him. Tom, last night you told chat that you defend the Constitution. Did you bleed for it? Yeah, true. My bad. Yeah, I forgot to bleed for it. That's my fault.
The true divide in American politics today is between these far-left fascists, led by Harris and her group. We have a fascist person running who's incompetent. She's a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist. She's not actually a socialist. She's gone past that. Somebody's got to explain this one. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist. The true divide in American politics today is between these far-left fascists.
I don't know. TikTok, are you guys able to hear that? On my side, it says that you guys can hear it. But yeah, for some reason, the people who were calling in said that they couldn't hear it. So I don't know. Okay, are you guys gonna answer? Can y'all hear it on TikTok? But yeah, and then I put out a video yesterday going over a bunch of examples. So we hear you. Oh, so you guys couldn't hear the video that I was just playing? Oh, we can hear. Wait, I was asking, can you guys hear the video that I just played?
The right wing has been violent nonstop.
Ooh,
all of the biggest right-wing leaders are all...
Damn, that was loud. Okay. Okay. Yes, we can hear it on TikTok. Okay, thank you. All right. So yeah, so this was part of like the receipts that I'm talking about.
Going after them because they were pushing Democrat pack of lies and that they were hiding Hunter Biden's laptop. Charlie Kirk said that Republicans shouldn't take responsibility for anything that this guy did. Their rhetoric didn't affect it at all. And then he told his audience to go bail the guy out.
Politico says top Republicans reject any link between GOP rhetoric and Paul Pelosi assault. Of course you should reject any link. Why is the Republican Party, why is the conservative movement to blame breaking into somebody's home or maybe not breaking into somebody's home? Why are we to blame for that exactly? If some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero, bail him out and then go ask him some questions.
And just days after the attack on the Pelosi's, Donald Trump was making jokes about it.
Stand up to crazy Nancy Pelosi who ruined San Francisco. How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know? And she's against building a wall at our border, even though she has a wall around her house, which obviously didn't do a very good job.
You don't ever hear Democrats making jokes about this sort.
So yeah, this is just like part of what I'm talking about. This is
from Joe Biden when Donald Trump was shot at.
Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this.
Now contrast that to what it is that Trump says when Charlie Kirk is shot at.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals.
This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today.
One leader tries to bring the country together and condemns all violence. The other one condemns one side and attacks that entire side and tries to split the country up even more. Or what Donald Trump does at his own rallies.
I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. That's true. And he's walking out, and we're not allowed, you know, the guards are very gentle with him. He's walking out like big high fives, smiling, laughing, like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
These are all the biggest content creators.
I did not mean to leave that fucking clip of me looking at the camera in there. That was supposed to be deleted. I did not mean for that to still be there afterwards, where I'm just like...
These are all the biggest content creators on the right now, all calling for violence and calling for war. While they're all posting a bunch of videos of some 15-year-old TikToker in their mom's basement who has 100 followers saying, I can't believe these people are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Sure, that's bad, but those aren't the leaders of our movement. Those are not big names. Those are not people with a lot of followers, because if people on our side did that sort of thing, they would get a lot of crap. Like Hassan. When Hassan does things like this, he gets tons of crap from all over the left. But for the right, this isn't something new, like, oh, now it's time to be violent. This is just more of the same. And for all of the examples that I brought up so far, they were all Republicans, and Republican leaders refuse to take responsibility for any of it. But as soon as something happens to a Republican, they won't even wait to find out if a Democrat did it. They'll immediately...
Why are you holding a mic for a TikTok video? It's just easier. The audio is pretty shit on my phone, and it makes it to where the audio, just like having a mic there, is better. Plus, if I clip it onto me, it is a bit like roomier and tinny, and so holding it up to my mouth makes it less tinny, to where I have like a lot more control over the sound.
start demanding that Democrats take responsibility for it, when they still refuse to take responsibility for anything that happens from their side.
Democrats own what happened today.
By that logic, do Republicans own the shooting of the two Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota?
Political...
Isn't this on both sides? Kidding?
Yeah, so they're asking about the Hortman and Hoffman assassinations. They're like, okay, well, if Democrats own this, then don't conservatives own the Hortman and Hoffman assassinations? And she's immediately like, what? Why are you asking me about that? I don't care about that.
No, I'm asking.
We don't know what condition Charlie Kirk is in right now. Some raging leftist lunatic put a bullet through his neck, and you want to talk about Republicans right now? No.
No, I'm asking.
No, not at all.
You said the Democrats have to own it too. But I'm asking,
Democrats own this.
But isn't there a problem with political violence across the spectrum?
Yeah, we're talking about Charlie Kirk right now. That's the subject of this that we're talking about right now. Democrats own this.
When the right says...
So yeah, like there's I have a ton more clips on this. This is on my YouTube channel. It's on my TikTok. It's on my Twitter. But yeah, this is just like, there's endless examples of this stuff that I've been posting all over the place, and it's yeah, it's kind of gross. Like, this is President Trump to deploy National Guard and federal agents into Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana. This is the guy who was talking to Charlie Kirk when he got shot. He's part of the Unfuck America tour. He put out a video that's on my Twitter.
I don't know how to make this video. It's been a rough 24 hours.
Yeah, TikToker's audio is shit, though. This is part of why I hold a mic, is because, yeah, the TikToker's audio is just fucking shit. And their videos are all so freaking quiet that you can't hear anything that they say. So I'm one of the few where you can actually hear what I'm saying, and I have it turned up. Yeah, I mean, this is even like the day before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, where Matt Walsh is calling for a witch hunt against Democrat judges and DAs and saying that he wants their lives destroyed. Like, this is the norm. This is every day. This is even before it happened. It'll keep going after it happened. This isn't new for them. This is just the same. It's what it'll always be. Like, when we're trying to act like this stuff from Elon Musk is somehow comparable to the little tiny accounts on TikTok or the little tiny accounts on Reddit, like, while those are bad, and again, I will denounce them, they are not leaders within the movement. They are not people who are influencing people. They're not people who are, like, if those people all said, hey, let's do a civil war, nobody's going to give a fuck. Nobody's going to follow them. But if Elon Musk says it, well, now it's a very different scenario. When Libs of TikTok says it, now it's a very different scenario. When, like, all of these big right-wing content creators across the board are all saying the same thing, yeah, it's just an insanely different thing in the fact that people are comparing the tiny TikTok creators to the president of the United States or to Elon Musk. I don't know what world you live in where that makes sense. Tom, you got people in your chat implying Kirk deserved it and actively defaming his family. What do you want me to do about it? If I've already denounced it, if I've already talked about this, I've already put out a number of videos, I've already said this in all my live streams, like, what do you want from me? Again, you guys are demanding a whole lot of me. When are you guys going to do fucking a little portion of that? You're demanding of me to do the thing that I've already been doing the whole fucking time. Your turn. Your turn. Here we go. Elon Musk. I got a couple of videos of Donald Trump as well. I want you to denounce those as well. And then I got some more of some other Republican leaders. I want you to denounce those. Like, the fact that, like, I'm the one who's actually denouncing stuff on both sides of this, while every fucking partisan hack wants to run in and make a huge deal about just one side of things, when that one side isn't the one that's doing the majority of this shit, is fucking wild. I denounce Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Well, thank you. Everyone has imagined what happened to Kirk happening to them. Yeah, I get it. I understand. Like, it makes sense. Like, it's a very real thing, especially when the video comes out. You see it with your own eyes. Like, especially as content creators, especially as, like, political content creators. Yes, we all, like, look at this and all of a sudden they're like, oh, fucking shit. We are all insanely vulnerable. But all right, I'm going to head out. I might be back on tomorrow. Just saw that I was able to stream again on TikTok, or that my strikes, some of my strikes were gone. So figured I'd come give it another shot, though. I might have gotten another strike for unoriginal content, apparently. So I don't know. I don't know if they took that away or what, because I don't see it anymore. So yeah, we'll see. But all right, might be back on tomorrow. Are you gonna do YouTube? No, I don't really have anything to, like, get into and talk about. So just gonna probably take the rest of the night off.
Robinson. We have some major news. The Guardian just retracted one of its reports that said that Tyler Robinson, the alleged suspect in the shooting of Charlie Kirk, was a leftist. Another example of media spreading theories without facts. Yesterday, The Guardian published a report based on an anonymous quote from a classmate, allegedly, of Robinson's, in which the classmate claimed that Robinson was this leftist. Right-wingers on the internet grasped onto that, ran with it, and it spread like a wildfire online. This morning, we now have an editor's note. Quote, this article was updated on September 12th to remove summarized quotes after the verified source who attended high school with Tyler Robinson said after publication that they could not accurately remember details of their relationship. This comes after the Wall Street Journal quietly retracted its story about the transgender ideology on the bullets. Another example of how the media ran with a story without properly vetting it. Spread the word because people need to know this and follow along for more to come soon.
Yeah, again, I think it is pretty obvious that he's on the left, but there's TikTokers all over the place who are going off about this, saying that he's a groiper.
So we're all finding out apparently through news articles now that Chaya Raichik, the Libs of TikTok lady, has published a de facto hit list, who she's using under the moniker of Charlie's Murderers. And I am one of the dozen or so people that's on it. And I've been getting a steady flow of death threats pretty much since yesterday for just announcing the fact that Charlie Kirk had been killed. And saying that, you know, he participated in a system and a societal structure which encouraged violence. And while I don't condone violence, and I'm certainly not celebrating it, I'm not going to mourn with someone who caused so much harm to a community that I'm...
This is literally the majority. I'm serious. Like, the majority of the people that they say are celebrating this are people who have straight up said, I'm not going to celebrate this. I don't condone the shooting, but I just don't care all that much, or I'm not going to mourn his death, or like, that's it. It's just that I don't care, or I'm not going to mourn. They're like, oh, we have to dox you and try to get you fired. And it's so ridiculous, dude.
Members of. She apparently has now started a list of people that she says are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and listing their personal information, where they live, where they work, pictures of them and their bios and all this other stuff on this hit list. And I was wondering why people were attacking me for an association that I have because it was wrongly stated on this site. But now I've got to pack bags for my kids and send them away because this radical bitch who's notorious for getting schools to have bomb threats and has, you know, resulted in teachers getting fired.
Well, and I've gotten a bunch of like fucking death threats and shit during this as well. And again, like, I've been pretty clear on this. Like, the fact that like even I'm getting death threats and shit is just wild. Like, if I'm getting them, then literally everybody's gonna get them, because there is nothing that you can do to please these fucking snowflakes. There's nothing you can say or do. They're just gonna whine and cry no matter what. And then there's this as well.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and my name is currently first on a website claiming to expose Charlie Kirk's murderers. You might be wondering how I got here. I'm kind of wondering that too. I already told this story to Wired, but let me tell it to you now in my own words. Because for the last 2 days, I've been getting messages like this nonstop, claiming to know where I live and saying they're coming for me. Now, what did I say to deserve all of this? Let's go to the website and read the screenshots that they included of me celebrating Charlie Kirk.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the TikTok stream, and I'll stay on YouTube for just a little bit more before I get off. So if you guys want to keep watching, head over to YouTube, youtube.com/TomFooleryShow.
Kirk's murder. I said I was terrified to think of how far-right fans of Kirk, aching for more violence, could very well turn this into an even more radicalizing moment. Will they now believe their fears have been proven right and feel they have a right to retaliate regardless of who actually was behind the initial shooting? That analysis came from the fact that I am an experienced journalist who has extensively covered right-wing extremism. That's also why, by the way, a lot of people hate me and want to shut me up. And I was immediately proven right. Many far-right personalities are using this as an excuse to agitate and retaliate against their political enemies. That includes former conservative leader Andrew Scheer, because this is where it all started for me. The hate massively escalated when former conservative leader and sitting currently conservative MP Andrew Scheer took my words and called me twisted and said I have so much hate in me. Pierre Poilievre's wife also boosted this post. Then things got even worse when I got a DM from a friend of mine telling me about this website. She sent me the link, and at first I thought she must have sent me the link to the direct post about me on this website. But then I double-checked the link.
For staying on for a bit, appreciate it. Bald Phoenix for the 10 euros. Let me turn the alerts back on so that the TTS actually comes through again. All right, there we go.
And I realized this was the homepage. My name was first. And then things exploded. The flood of threats turned
Is there a way for me to... Okay, I guess not.
into a tsunami. And as it escalated, I shared that I was scared. Then several massive American right-wing accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers took a screenshot of that and shared it saying I deserved it without showing what I actually said. And suddenly I was like the face of people celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, even though that literally never happened. And it's made the last 48 hours of my life a living hell. Every single person who's ever disliked me is using this as a chance to get their pound of flesh. But this is the part I really want you to hear. It's not just me. There
Okay,
are tons of
pounds, I
people
don't know.
listed on this site who aren't public figures, who have never dealt with this before, and I am terrified for them. Some of the posts on this website are private messages. People are snitching on folks in their lives. And if they've received what I've received in the last 48 hours, which I'm sure they have, I'm so worried about them. People are out for blood right now. And there are people out there who are using this moment irresponsibly to serve up their perceived political enemies as a sacrifice. And for what? They're just proving me right. And I just...
Yeah, these will be examples forever against conservatives. Like, they will never live this down. The fact that they decided to dox everybody, the fact that they decided to harass them, the fact that they decided to get all of them fired, the fact that they were calling for civil wars, the fact that they were like directing hate crimes, the terrorism, death threats, like all of this shit at all of these liberals. This is something that they will never be able to live down. This is the hope is that you guys get on the right side of this and make sure that you're condemning it pretty early, because this is something that will be brought up forever against conservatives.
really hope no one makes good on these threats, because I now have to live as if they might.
And so, yeah, she posted this. She said, "Hi, I'm Rachel. My name is first on the website. The North American far right is using it to target people they say celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. There is just one problem. I never did that. But the people sending me threats don't seem to care. Let me tell you in my own words what happened." So, and you can see that, like, in the post, she literally just said, I forget what it was, but I actually went to the website and read the post, and it's nowhere close to celebrating. Not even fucking close. But then, when she added them, and this is their Twitter, already has 57,000 followers on it. And she said, like, I'd like you guys to take this down. They said, @Rachel, we'll remove your listing from our website and recognize your grace if you publish a written and signed apology addressed to to Charlie Kirk's family, which expresses your remorse and regret for contributing to the rhetoric that led to his murder. Again, this is so they believe that words are violence. That's what they're saying. Words are violence. They think that words are violence, and they are the biggest promoters of cancel culture now. I have never seen a cancel culture machine as big as this in my fucking life. Never have seen a cancel culture mob as big as this. And so yeah, when they put out this saying, attention, we have received nearly 20,000 submissions. This website will soon be converted into a searchable database of 20,000 submissions, filterable by general location and job industry. This is a permanent and continuously updating archive of radical activists calling for violence. This is the largest firing operation in history. I said, correction, this is the largest operation of cancel culture in history. This is exactly like, and just to be clear, this isn't something new for Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok has always doxed people and tried to get them fired and tried to cancel them. That has been her entire mission online. She has always been doxing people, canceling people, trying to get them fired. And there's no left-wing accounts that are as big as Libs of TikTok. There's none. There's none that are doing this that are as big as at Libs of TikTok. There's like the fact that people still pretend like cancel culture is a left-wing thing when they are the biggest promoters of it is fucking wild to me. She has nonstop been harassing people and trying to get them fired from their jobs as long as she's been around. It has been her entire brand is cancel culture. So I'm kind of at a loss when all of the things that they claim about the left is just doubly right about themselves. Yet they feel so righteous and vindicated in their anger against us when every time it's them. But I've got up 4 new videos over the last couple of days on TikTok, so make sure you guys head over to TikTok and give it a like, give it a comment, watch the videos. There's 3 or 4 of them that I put out, but I think because like I mentioned things like murder and stuff like that, that it it doesn't really want to push it in the algorithm. So yeah, it's wild hearing everybody on the left on TikTok using MAGA talking points right now saying, don't show empathy for Charlie and his family because they never would have shown empathy for you. Isn't this literally what MAGA says about us showing empathy for Palestinians? Aren't we the ones who always say what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong? It's wild hearing everybody. So yeah, this is, there's like 3 or 4 videos out today that I put out, but yeah, go check them out. I'll be back on tomorrow, most likely. We'll see. I'm like truly like the entire conversation is kind of obnoxious to me because all of the people who are like pushing the right-wing narrative, they won't talk about it. They won't come on and have a conversation with you. They won't debate you on it. They won't look at any evidence. They won't look at any studies. They won't look at the examples of what's happening on to them. But it's literally like the only thing that's happening right now. And so while there's other things that I would rather talk about or get into, I don't see any of it because I don't know. My entire fucking feed on every platform is flooded with the Charlie Kirk shit. And so yeah, it's just if I can't talk about this with people, but it's all we can talk about. And so yeah, I'm kind of sick of it and a bit over it at this point. But have you tried to debate anyone? I literally just spent the last 2 hours on TikTok, like trying to get people to come up, and I had one guy who came up, but we just kind of went in circles of like, of him just like giving me examples that weren't analogous or, you know, examples of things that he's upset about, but like wouldn't actually, wouldn't actually engage with any of the examples that I was giving, and then the next guy just like didn't even want to have the conversation about Charlie Kirk at all. So you have to talk to Rob. I don't think I do.
It was like pulling teeth. Half the people wouldn't get back to me. Half the people, when I talked to them, I'd be like, you know, well, you would condemn, right? Like assassination. Well. It was surreal. First one. And there's like 8 women there. And they're getting to know each other. Man, thank you so much. Incredibly generous. Says for the grift, not one step back. Rest in peace, Charlie. Never thought I'd be affected by losing someone I didn't know. God bless you. And then some people didn't know him. And for me, it's like, I knew him, I knew of the video, what was going on in my life when I saw the video. I'm picking up my son. Life. But I don't mean radicalized in a bad way. I don't mean like, oh, now I'm going to go out and do something heinous. I'm vehemently against any sort of vigilante justice, violence type stuff. I'm against that. I think this has radicalized me towards Christianity more than I already was. Because I don't know that I've ever seen examples in your face so inexplicably good versus evil. Just there. You don't have to dig. You don't need someone to explain it. It's there. You feel it. I feel it. It's there.
It's not.
You watch someone cheering, yeah, that's great. I'm glad. Hopefully they take his kids away from the mother too and put them in their home. And then you see video of Charlie with his wife and his kids running to him. And you see a video saying that he was like a racist bigot and this and that and the other. And I saw a video today of a compilation of he would do wise words of the day with his wife. I'm very lucky in my marriage. I think I met the right lady. I think I have a beautiful family. Not everyone's so lucky. People ask me, how'd you meet your wife? Luck. I can't explain what it was, how Charlie met his wife. But everything about that guy seems genuine in his relationship with his wife and kids. Everything. Truly, truly in love. And to some degree, I think that's what I have with my wife. I see myself in that. And some people look at that and they don't have that for whatever reason. Maybe they will find it. Maybe they won't. And they see speeches that I ever heard. And they mocked her for that. It was hateful. Then they mocked her for showing pictures of her at his casket. They mocked her for that too. But if I learned one thing over the last 24 hours, it's that Erica Kirk is probably one of the strongest people.
I'm sorry, but like the idea is that like this is a human, this is a person. No human should ever be treated like this. This is literally the way that they all treated fucking what's his name? George Floyd, and still to this day, like there's not Rob, but like this is common on the right all the time of people who are still like using George Floyd as their profile picture and acting like this is and changing his face to like a monkey and all sorts of other crap. There's they laughed about like his memorial services, and the same with like Pelosi getting attacked and all of the jokes that was made about that and him being in the hospital. They made up conspiracy theories about it. Candace Owens ran around saying that like this didn't really happen, that this was his gay boyfriend, Paul Pelosi's gay boyfriend that was doing this. And it's just it is shit that I see from prominent figures all across the right. What he's talking about. I don't see prominent figures doing this. I don't know who the prominent figures are who are doing this, but okay, to be fair, George Floyd stuff is hilarious. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you guys are not like above making fun of people after they die. You're not above like their family seeing memes about their dead relatives. You're not above any of this shit. Like you guys act like it, but you're not. Nobody on the right is above this shit. Just the difference is that it's the prominent figures on the right who do this, and it's not prominent figures on the left who do it. It's little fucking TikTok and Reddit accounts that are doing it. So I mean, the issue is the political polarization. I mean, I agree. Like, it is the polarization. It is. But that, again, this is why, like, I am one of the few who spends a lot of time actually calling out people on my side. I actually spend a lot of time, like, one of my TikTok videos is me calling out, all the people who were trying to deny that this person was on the left.
If you didn't know what a groiper was until yesterday, probably don't try to comment on that.
I used to be far right, and I've been debating groypers for the past 5 years. All of the people who are running around saying that the shooter of Charlie Kirk definitely was a groiper, these people have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. They are stretching information to try to make it sound like the person was from the right, whereas the thing that I've been doing is making fun of the fact that every single time a shooter is on the right refuses to take responsibility and own them, and they all say that they were actually Antifa or FBI. But now the left is doing literally the same thing with Charlie Kirk. I completely disavow this. We can own our own shooters because we are in the minority. He may have been on the right, he may have been on the left. We don't have enough information right now, but what we do know is the fact that he called Charlie Kirk a fascist, and that is something that a groiper would never do. So yeah, this is like, again, like there's tons of videos of me constantly calling out people on the right. I call out Destiny, I call out Hassan, I call out David Pacman, I called out who's the reporter girl that we were just recently talking about, Taylor Lorenz, like, but it is like just the hardcore partisanship of everybody that makes it to where they're just unwilling to recognize facts that go against their side. And this is why that, like, I really think that Biden was just a great fucking president, man. Like, looking back at the way that he reacted to Trump getting shot at and the way that he talked about this, instead of being like, this is on the right wingers, this is on Trump for his rhetoric, this is a right winger who even shot at him, and this is all about the fact that they're all fucking crazy violent people. Like, he came out and said, like, this is bad. Like, political violence is bad. We should we all need to come together and blah blah blah. And then Trump, every time something happens, he comes out and blames the left and says the left did it, and says that it's the radical left and the Antifa, or he blames the FBI, or. But I don't have like, if people want to say that, like, the George Floyd memes are funny, that's fine. Just don't act like you're above this shit. Like, that's the issue. Is just don't. That I see fucking people with George Floyd as their fucking profile pictures, whining and crying about people making fun of Kirk, saying, how could people make fun of him like this when his family could possibly see it? It's like, I don't know. You tell me, bro. You tell me. I have no fucking idea how they could do that. You tell me. If someone posted a George Floyd meme after it happened, would they get fired? Well, probably not. All right. I'm gonna head out. I'll be back on tomorrow. Most likely. Till then, appreciate you. Love you. See you next time. Later, fools.